The crowd screamed in panic as the entire amusement park was suddenly plunged into darkness. The power had gone out completely. Claire immediately panicked and quickly tried to feel around for her children, but she couldn't find either of them. Her heart pounded violently in her chest as cold dread washed over her. Seconds later, the lights flickered back on. From her position near the carousel, Claire spotted her sons, Lucas and Liam, standing just off to the side of the ride. "Lucas! Liam!" Claire shouted, rushing toward them. But before she could reach them, the twins bolted in another direction. Her eyes followed where they were going, and to her utter shock, they were running straight toward a man. It was Ethan. Before she could react, the twins wrapped their arms tightly around Ethan's legs. "You're our daddy," they said in unison, grinning. Claire's mouth dropped open. Ethan looked down at the boys in confusion, then up at Claire. What are they talking about?" Ethan asked, his brow furrowed. "We look like you, that's why," Lucas chimed in eagerly. "You're our dad, right? Don't you feel it too?" Before Ethan could respond, Claire reached them and firmly took the twins by their arms. "I've told you before," she said sharply. "Never talk to strangers. Didn't you promise me that?" As she pulled them away, Liam looked up at her with tearful eyes. "But Mommy, isn't he our daddy? Did we get it wrong? We just thought, he looks just like us." "I'm sorry, Mommy," Lucas said quietly. Claire's heart ached. Slowly, she turned to Ethan, who was still staring at them. "Claire, is that really you?" he asked softly, his gaze shifting between her and the boys. "You have kids? Are you married now?" "She's not married," Lucas answered before Claire could. "That's why we're looking for our dad. You know our mommy, right? You two know each other, don't you?" "I'm sorry, sir. They just made a mistake. I'm really sorry," Claire said quickly, turning on her heel and walking away. Ethan stood rooted in place, stunned. Though he didn't follow her, the encounter played over and over in his mind, especially the look on the boys' faces. Sometimes, no matter how much you try to forget, your past finds a way back into your present. Flashback. "Hello, Mr. Ethan. I'm Claire, the one replacing Mrs. Rita here in your home. She'll be gone for 2 months because her son is ill, so I'll only be here temporarily." Claire spoke politely. "If she trusted you to take her place, I'll trust you too. You can start today. I'll show you to your room. You'll be the only one staying here besides me. If you're uncomfortable already, you can leave," Ethan said seriously. "No, sir, I'm fine. I have no problem with it. I really need the money, so I can't afford to be picky," Claire answered immediately. She was currently a college senior in the city. Her classes were at night, which allowed her to fulfill her duties as a housekeeper during the day. Just a few weeks remained before her graduation. She needed extra income, especially since she was supporting herself. She had been orphaned at a young age. Ethan nodded and showed her to her room. Days passed quickly, and Claire did her work in Ethan's home without issue. "Here's your tea, sir. I've also packed your lunch," Claire said with a smile. "Thanks, just put it in the car. I'll be home late, so be sure to lock the door before you leave. I have a key and will get back before you do," Ethan replied as he sipped the tea Claire made. Claire nodded and grabbed the lunchbox, heading to the garage where his car was parked, but the smile on her face faded. "He's handsome, but he never smiles. He acts strict, but he's actually kind," she murmured to herself. Only 1 more month to go. After placing his lunch in the car, she returned inside. Once Ethan had left, Claire tidied up the house, studied, and worked on assignments for her final requirements before graduation next week. The day went by quickly. By evening, Claire headed to campus for an hour-long exam. She finished early and went straight back to Ethan's home. "It's only 7 o'clock and it looks like he's not home yet. I don't have a key. she muttered, scratching her head. She tried to think of what to do. Ethan's house was secure, and she didn't know how to climb a wall even if she wanted to, so she decided to wait outside the gate. After 4 hours, a car suddenly stopped in front of her. "Hi, miss, can you help me get him inside?" said the man inside the vehicle. "Oh, sure, I'm his housekeeper, Claire," she replied quickly, hurrying to Ethan's side. She reached into the pocket of his black slacks and thankfully found his house key. She used it to unlock the gate. With the man's help, they carried Ethan upstairs to his bedroom. "I'll be heading out. Take care of my friend. If he asks how he got home, just tell him his buddy Troy brought him back," the man said, pointing to himself. "What's your name again?" he asked. "I'm Claire. Thank you for bringing my boss home. I'll let him know it was you once he wakes up," Claire said with a polite smile. "I'll remember your name. Remember mine too. I hope we meet again," Troy said meaningfully. Though puzzled, Claire didn't ask further. She walked him to the door and returned to Ethan's room. She sighed, then began removing Ethan's shoes and socks. "Are you a drunk? Still, you're really handsome," Claire murmured with a laugh, shaking her head at herself. She knew Ethan was attractive. Anyone would be drawn to him. She also admitted she had a bit of a crush on him, especially since he had always been kind to her, even if he never smiled. "It's hot," Ethan muttered suddenly. He slowly unbuttoned his white shirt. "I'll grab you a change of clothes," Claire said quickly, heading for the closet. She returned with fresh clothes, but her eyes widened in surprise when she saw Ethan already down to just his underwear. Even though it was night, the room was brightly lit. "Sir, are you still feeling hot?" she asked softly, inching closer. His eyes were closed. Hearing no reply, she leaned closer to check if he was breathing. Once she felt his breath, the room suddenly went dark. "Blackout!" she shouted in panic. Before she could move, a strong hand grabbed her. Everything happened so fast. She found herself lying on the bed, with something, or someone, on top of her. She knew who it was. It was Ethan. "Sir, are you okay? Are you awake?" Claire asked nervously, her heart racing from fear, confusion, and the sudden blackout. She tried to move away, but her hands accidentally landed on something firm. She froze. Then she heard Ethan groan softly. Realizing what she had touched, her thoughts spun. "Still hot," she whispered. "I'm still hot," Ethan murmured. Before she could speak, Ethan kissed her. Shocked and confused, Claire couldn't react. She wanted to push him away but felt weak, especially when his lips started moving against hers. She closed her eyes as his hands explored her body. It sent shivers through her. Her mind was screaming, but her body wasn't listening. "Please, sir, be gentle. It's my first time," she whispered. Ethan kissed her neck. "Don't worry. Even if it hurts at first, the pain will fade," he whispered. Before Claire could respond, she felt him intimately. The pain was overwhelming at first, but just as Ethan had said, it slowly faded, replaced by a strange sensation of pleasure. "Ethan!" she gasped. Moments later, they both reached their climax. Panting and holding each other, Claire thought it was over. But Ethan didn't stop. They continued until exhaustion finally overtook them, and they fell asleep, side by side. The next morning, Claire woke up early. Despite the aching in various parts of her body, she forced herself to get up and quietly moved away from Ethan, who was still sound asleep. She went straight to the kitchen and prepared breakfast for him. "How are you feeling?" Ethan suddenly asked as he sipped the tea she made. "Excuse me?" Claire stammered. "I'm fine, sir," she answered without looking him in the eye. "If you need anything, just tell me." Claire nodded. "I'll just go clean your room," she said quickly before leaving the kitchen. She felt awkward facing Ethan after what happened. As she cleaned his room, her eyes landed on the bed. Without hesitation, she stripped the blood-stained bedsheet and carried it out to the backyard where the washing machine was. The days passed quickly. Claire finally graduated. She was happy to finish school, but her work as a housekeeper had grown uncomfortable. She hadn't meant to avoid Ethan, but she couldn't help it. She felt ashamed, and as if she had lost part of herself. She knew she shared the blame. She hadn't stopped what happened. She didn't blame Ethan. She blamed herself more. "Miss Rita is coming back soon. Sir, can I leave a bit earlier than planned?" she asked one day, while Ethan sat on the couch reading a magazine. "I've been offered an opportunity and need to leave today or tomorrow." "If it's important and it's for your future, I won't stop you," Ethan said seriously. Claire didn't reply immediately. Ethan hadn't changed his behavior toward her. He never brought up what happened. Even though Claire wanted to forget it, she couldn't. She had hoped, maybe foolishly, that Ethan might say something. "I've packed my things. I'll just leave later today," Claire said, and Ethan didn't reply. She went back to her room to make sure she hadn't left anything behind. She thought to herself, "Maybe I was expecting too much. I hoped he'd stop me. So this is what disappointment feels like when it comes to a crush. He didn't reject me outright, but it still hurts." She stayed in her room, having already finished her chores. By afternoon, Claire decided it was time to leave Ethan's home. She said goodbye properly, and as usual, Ethan showed no particular reaction. He just let her go. Claire went to her best friend from college, Amanda, who was now managing her parents' company. Amanda offered her a job with good pay, and Claire accepted it so she could save up and eventually start her own business. "Claire, you've been throwing up for days. What's going on? You haven't adjusted to the company yet? You've been here almost 2 months," Amanda asked with concern. "I don't know. I haven't eaten anything spoiled," Claire replied. They were in the bathroom. Claire had been vomiting, though nothing was coming out. Her stomach felt like it was turning inside out. "Oh my gosh! Are you pregnant? Who's the father? Was it a one-night stand?" Amanda asked, shocked. Claire froze. Only one name came to mind: Ethan. "Is it really possible to get pregnant after just one time?" Claire asked nervously. "What do you mean? Just one round or multiple rounds in one night?" Amanda asked. "Because the chances increase the more it happens. Why didn't you use protection?" Claire didn't answer. She didn't know how to explain that it happened during a blackout and everything was so sudden. She hadn't even thought of protection. "Who did you sleep with? Do I know him? Should we go confront him? He has to take responsibility." Claire turned on the faucet, washed her hands and cleaned her mouth. She stared at her reflection in the mirror. "Do I really have to do that? It was an accident. I'm sure he won't take responsibility. Besides, he was drunk. I wasn't. But I didn't stop it either," Claire said softly. Amanda sighed. "So what's your plan?" Claire shook her head. "Honestly, I don't know. We're not even sure if I'm pregnant. I'll go get checked first." Amanda nodded. "That's for the best. But have you thought, if you're pregnant, will you keep it?" "Do I even need to think about the answer, Amanda?" "If I'm pregnant, of course I'll keep it. It's not the baby's fault." Amanda sighed again. She knew she couldn't give her friend bad advice. If Claire was pregnant, she'd support her however she could, especially since it was clear Claire didn't plan to tell who the father was. Amanda went with Claire to get checked. Just as they suspected, Claire was nearly 2 months pregnant. She was scared for her future and for her baby, but Amanda promised she'd support her and never leave her side. End of flashback. "Mommy, Aunt Amanda is here. She brought lots of toys." Claire's twin sons, Lucas and Liam, cheered excitedly as they saw Amanda walk into the small restaurant Claire now owned. Claire looked at them fondly. Yes, you're getting spoiled by your aunt again, aren't you?" "That's not good," she said, pretending to scold them. "Oh, come on. You know how much I love these kids, and I only give them what they deserve. They don't even ask for anything," Amanda replied as she stepped into Claire's mini office. "Fine, I can't stop you anyway, but really thank you. I'll always be grateful for everything you've done," Claire said, smiling warmly at her friend. "Oh, please don't butter me up again." "So, how are things? We haven't seen each other in a week. It looks like your restaurant's doing well," Amanda said, looking around. "Good thing you bounced back. Now you won't have a hard time sending the boys to school." "Yes, it's going well. Thank you for all your support. I'm really glad you stopped by. Stay and have lunch with us," Claire invited. "That's what I love about coming here. Free food," Amanda said playfully, making Claire laugh. They all had lunch together. Before leaving, Claire packed some food for Amanda to bring to her parents, who lived nearby and treated Claire and the boys like family. Claire was thankful that despite all she had been through, people like Amanda and her family had stayed by her side. Later that afternoon, Claire and the twins headed home. With hard work, Claire had been able to buy a piece of land and build a modest house for her and her sons. It wasn't big, but it was enough for them and had everything they needed. "Mommy, we're going into first grade soon, and our birthday is coming up," Liam said cheerfully as they sat around the kitchen table eating dinner. "Can we ask for something special this year?" Lucas added. "Of course. What do you both want?" Claire asked, curious. "Did you agree on the same gift?" "We want to know who our daddy is," they said together. Claire almost choked on her food and looked at the twins in shock. "Why do you need a mommy and a daddy to have a baby?" Lucas asked innocently. "Where is our daddy? Is he not around because you two don't get along?" Claire didn't know how to answer. She thought hard about what to say. She couldn't tell them the truth, at least not yet. They were too young to understand that they were conceived during a blackout. "No, we're not on good terms. That's why we're not together," Claire said carefully. "I also don't know where he is anymore, so let's not talk about him right now. Isn't my love enough for you both? Do you really need to look for your father?" The twins' faces fell. "Sorry, Mommy. We just wanted to know who he is. That doesn't mean we don't love you," Liam said. "Yeah, we just thought maybe there's still a chance we could be a complete family someday," Lucas added. Claire felt a pang of guilt. She knew every child dreamed of having a complete family. She wanted that for her boys too. But it wasn't easy. She had no idea where Ethan was, or how he'd react if she suddenly showed up and told him he had twins. "All right, here's the deal. If I ever find out where your real father is, I'll tell you, and no matter what happens, I promise that one day I'll introduce you to him. You know I always keep my promises, right?" The boys' faces lit up and they nodded eagerly. Claire smiled and continued eating dinner with them. She knew deep down that one day she wouldn't be able to keep this secret forever. The truth about their father would come out eventually. She just hoped that when the time came, it would be the right moment. "This place is beautiful, Mommy," Lucas exclaimed with wide eyes, looking around at the brightly lit surroundings. They were currently at an amusement park. Claire loved taking the boys out, and recently they had asked her to bring them here. She had no choice but to say yes. "I want to ride the one with the horses," Liam said excitedly. So Claire let them ride the carousel, with one boy on each gently rotating horse. She got on too, to stay close and keep watch. "This is so much fun." "Yeah, one more round, the twins cheered. Claire let them enjoy the ride as much as they wanted. She stood beside them, smiling as they laughed, slowly getting caught up in the joy of the carousel. But after a few minutes, Claire's smile disappeared. Her gaze froze in the distance. She suddenly felt a tight knot in her chest. "Ethan," she whispered the name she had promised herself never to say again. Her eyes widened in disbelief as she looked at the familiar face she had hoped never to see again. Mommy, are you okay? Lucas asked. Claire didn't answer. She kept staring at Ethan, who was also staring back at her. Even as the carousel spun, their eyes remained locked. Hey, look at where Mommy's looking, Liam whispered to Lucas. The twins followed her gaze, then looked at each other. It was as if they instinctively understood something. Suddenly, the crowd began screaming again. The lights went out completely. The amusement park had lost power. Claire immediately panicked. She reached out in the darkness, frantically feeling for her children. But there was nothing. Her blood ran cold, and her heart beat wildly in her chest. Seconds later, the lights came back on. From where she stood, Claire spotted the twins stepping off the carousel. "Lucas! Liam!" she yelled and rushed down the steps. Before she could get to them, the boys were already running. She watched them in shock as they ran straight toward Ethan. She was too late to stop it. The twins threw their arms around him in a tight hug. "You're our daddy!" they said together. Claire's jaw dropped open. Ethan stared at the boys in stunned silence before turning to Claire again. "What do you mean by that?" he asked, bewildered. "You're our dad," Liam said, "because we look just like you." "Yeah, we're not mistaken. Don't you feel it? Don't you feel any connection?" Before Ethan could answer, two hands grabbed the twins' arms and pulled them back. "I told you not to talk to strangers, remember? You promised me," Claire said firmly. She pulled them away from Ethan. "But Mommy," Lucas asked, "isn't he our daddy? Were we wrong?" Claire felt her heart twist painfully. She slowly turned her head toward Ethan, who was still watching them. "Claire, is it really you?" he asked, glancing again at the boys. "You have kids now? Are you married?" "She's not married," Lucas said quickly. "We're looking for our dad. You know our mum, don't you? You two know each other, right?" "I'm sorry, sir," Claire said immediately. "They just made a mistake. I'm really sorry." She turned around and walked away, fast. Ethan stayed where he was, filled with confusion. He didn't try to follow her. He didn't have a reason to, but even so the moment stayed in his mind, especially the part about the boys. Some things are hard to avoid, especially when they've once been a part of your past. "Don't worry, I'd never let anything happen to them," Amanda said kindly to Claire, who came to drop off the twins one morning. "All right," Claire agreed. "That works out since I have a meeting to attend. Just call me if anything comes up." The twins were excited to go with Amanda, who promised to take them shopping for toys and other things. "Before we head to the mall, we'll stop by my boyfriend's house. He'll be joining us, and I want you to meet him," Amanda said cheerfully as she drove. "You have a boyfriend? Is he as nice as you?" Lucas asked. "Of course. I wouldn't date someone mean. Be nice to him, okay? Just call him Uncle Troy, or just Uncle if that's easier." "Yes, Aunt Amanda," the twins replied together. After a few minutes, they arrived at Troy's house. The housekeeper let them in immediately, recognizing Amanda. "Babe, I'm here," Amanda called with a smile as they entered the living room. "Babe, I missed you," Troy said, walking over to greet her. "Hey, do you see what I see?" Liam whispered to Lucas, pointing. Lucas followed his brother's gaze and was stunned. Sitting on the couch in front of them was a very familiar-looking man. Liam approached him without hesitation, with Lucas close behind. "You were at the amusement park, weren't you? We met again," Liam said. "Liam, we're not supposed to talk to strangers. Mommy will be mad again," Lucas whispered nervously. "What are you boys whispering about? Is there a problem?" Amanda asked as she approached them. "Are these the godsons you were talking about? Are they Claire's kids?" Ethan asked with a furrowed brow. Amanda was taken aback. "Wait, you know Claire. What are you even doing here?" "I'm his cousin. Is it so strange for me to visit his house?" Ethan replied coolly. Oh, look at you, acting all high and mighty just because you're rich and good-looking, Amanda muttered under her breath. So, do you know their mother? Troy asked, stepping in. She was my housekeeper once, only for 2 months, Ethan said quietly. Amanda and Troy both gasped. Wait a minute, Troy muttered as he walked toward the twins. He studied them closely, scanning from head to toe, focusing intently on their faces. You look just like him. What are you talking about? Amanda asked. How could they look alike? That's ridiculous. Troy gave her a meaningful look. After a moment, Amanda's eyes widened. She covered her mouth with her hand and glanced back and forth between Ethan and the twins, slowly noticing the resemblance. We need to talk to Claire, Amanda said seriously. She's the only one who can confirm this. I'll talk to her, Ethan volunteered. Amanda nodded and called Claire to ask when her meeting would end. She suggested they meet for lunch, and Claire agreed. Amanda then took the twins to the mall with Troy to keep them occupied. I thought you were borrowing them for the day. Did something happen? Claire asked as she approached the table where Amanda and her kids were seated. Nice to see you again, Claire. I hope you haven't forgotten me. I'm Amanda's boyfriend, Troy said with a grin from where he sat beside Amanda. Claire looked at him and narrowed her eyes, trying to recall where she had seen him before. After a few seconds, she remembered. She could never forget him. She had once blamed him for what happened between her and Ethan. If only he hadn't brought Ethan home that night and had let him sober up first, maybe none of it would have happened. But then again, she wouldn't have her sons, so eventually the blame faded. Nice to meet you. I'm not sure we've met before, Claire said politely. Oh, I'm pretty sure we have. I bet you won't deny it, Ethan said confidently, walking over. Claire turned toward the voice coming from behind her. She froze. It was Ethan. Before she could say anything, Ethan gently took her hand and led her to a quiet corner table he had reserved. She didn't resist as he guided her to a seat, then sat across from her. What do you want? Claire asked cautiously. What happened? Amanda told me you never got married, that you were pregnant, and that she didn't know who the father was. Is it possible that... Claire cut him off sharply. What are you trying to say? What business is it of yours if I was pregnant and Amanda didn't know who the father was? Why do you care about my personal life? Ethan frowned. I haven't even said anything, and you're already defensive. I just want to be sure. If I'm wrong, then no harm done, right? What exactly are you getting at? What do you want? I want to get a DNA test with your kids. If the result is negative, I'll compensate you for your time, Ethan said directly. Claire could see the seriousness in his eyes. She knew that no matter what she said or did, he wouldn't back down until he got the answer he wanted. And if the test turns out positive? She asked. I don't have bad intentions. I'm not here to take them from you. But we need to talk and figure out how we can both be involved in their lives, as their parents. Claire stayed silent. She was thinking of a way out, anything to avoid the reality standing in front of her. You know, no matter what you do, the truth will come out eventually, Ethan added. I'm ready to listen if you're ready to tell me the truth now. A small laugh escaped Claire's lips. Ethan frowned, confused by her reaction. What do you want from me? Even if I tell you that you're their father, that they were conceived during that blackout at your house? What difference would it make? Do you think I'll just let you into their lives? You weren't there when they were born. If they're my kids, I will take responsibility for them. I'll give them everything they need. I'll be a real father. Are you really going to deny them that? Deny me that? I won't do anything to harm them, Ethan said sincerely. Claire could feel it. Every word he spoke carried weight, but she still hurt, and her thoughts were a storm of emotions and fear. She stood from the table. Fine, We'll do the DNA test. Let's talk again once we have the results. Her voice was firm as she returned to the table where her children waited. She was hungry, so she joined them. Ethan followed shortly and sat beside Troy. Did you two come to an agreement? Did Ethan speak reasonably? Amanda whispered to Claire. His mum just passed away last month from heart disease. His dad died 6 months ago in an accident. Amanda added in a hushed tone. Claire froze. Guilt and sympathy hit her at once. She didn't know, and now she realized she had let her emotions rule her words earlier. She stayed quiet and continued eating with everyone. Afterward, Claire and the boys went home. A DNA test was scheduled between Ethan and the twins. Before the test, Claire carefully explained to her sons what was going on. Slowly, they began to understand. Miss Claire, Mr. Ethan is in the living room. He's waiting for you, said Mrs. Gemma as Claire entered the kitchen. She was the only housekeeper Claire had during her pregnancy with the twins. Okay, please bring the boys their snacks in the playroom upstairs. Thank you, Claire said as she picked up a tray with 2 glasses of juice and egg sandwiches. She walked into the living room and placed the tray on the table in front of the couch where Ethan sat. This is the DNA result from the doctor. I haven't opened it. You can do the honors, she said calmly, handing him the brown envelope. Ethan took it silently. If you already knew the truth, why didn't you just tell me? He asked. It's better to be certain, with evidence, Claire replied. Ethan said nothing more as he opened the envelope slowly. Claire watched him from the opposite couch. In the past few days, Claire had seen how gentle and naturally close Ethan was with the kids. She had also gotten to know him better, and admittedly, she was annoyed by how similar he was to the twins. They shared the same peanut allergy, and they all had the same favorite dish, chicken adobo. Did that paper answer your question? Claire asked after a while. Ethan looked up at her slowly, a mix of shock and emotion in his eyes. I won't keep them from you, but I hope you'll keep your promise, that you won't do anything to hurt them, she said. No matter how hard it is for me to let you into their lives, when I've already been doing it all myself, I know I'd be selfish not to. They deserve their father. Even if I've denied it 1,000 times, I know they need your love too. Claire looked at him for a moment. He didn't say anything more, he just nodded silently. Then slowly, his lips trembled. Claire panicked, unsure if she'd said something wrong. Don't worry, Claire, I'm a man of my word, Ethan said, wiping away his tears. Claire gave a small nod. She went upstairs to find the twins and tell them the truth. Lucas and Liam were overjoyed to finally be with their father. Claire let them spend time together, and in that moment, she slowly accepted that she couldn't run away from this any longer. In the days that followed, Claire and Ethan agreed on a co-parenting setup. They would work together as parents in front of the kids, and they would schedule days for Ethan to have time alone with them. They handled everything legally. Claire allowed Ethan's name to appear on their birth certificates, though the boys still carried her last name. Chase me, Daddy! No fair, I was supposed to be it! Wait, Daddy's the tagger, remember? Lucas and Liam yelled, laughing as they ran. Ethan played along, pretending to be a monster, chasing the twins around the park. Nearby, Claire sat on a bench, watching them with a gentle smile. She was happy. Finally, they had reached a point where she and Ethan could get along, for the kids. Come on, let's take a break and have snacks, Claire called out. The boys ran to her, followed by Ethan. They gathered around the long bench where Claire had laid out food. You made this? Ethan asked as he looked at the sandwiches. It's been so long since I've had your cooking. I'm actually excited. Then come have dinner at our place later, Liam said enthusiastically. Yeah, Mommy's cooking is even better now, Lucas chimed in. Oh, you're both just flattering me, so I'll say yes, Claire replied, laughing as the twins dove into their egg sandwiches. Ethan joined in, clearly enjoying the food, and Claire grabbed one for herself. Just as she was about to take a bite, someone yanked her hair hard. "You're the mistress, aren't you? You shameless woman!" a woman screamed, still pulling Claire's hair. "Mommy!" the twins cried out at the same time. "Francine, what are you doing here? Let go of Claire. She didn't do anything wrong," Ethan shouted angrily as he pulled Francine away from Claire. "I'm not Ethan's mistress. We're just co-parenting our children." Claire defended herself. Francine finally let go of her hair at that. "You have kids? Is that why you left me? Because you had children already? Is this why our wedding never happened?" Francine shouted. "I left you because I felt nothing for you. I didn't even know I had children with Claire until recently," Ethan said calmly. The twins had already hidden behind Claire, frightened by Francine's outburst. Claire instinctively took a step back. "Ethan, deal with her. Please don't let her come near me or my kids again," Claire said quietly, pulling the boys away. Ethan didn't stop her. He was too busy holding back Francine, who was still flaring in rage. "All you ever bring is trouble, Francine. Do you always have to create chaos before getting the facts? This is why I broke things off with you," Ethan snapped. "I'm sorry, okay? You know how much I love you. If you want, I'll apologize to that woman. I didn't know your situation. I'll accept that you have kids if that's what you want." Ethan didn't answer. His face was hard, filled with anger. Francine started crying, drawing stares from people passing by in the park. Ethan quickly dragged her away toward his car. Claire, meanwhile, had taken the boys home. She was back in the kitchen preparing dinner when Mrs. Gemma approached her. "Claire, Ethan's outside. Should I let him in?" she asked. "Yes," Claire replied. Mrs. Gemma nodded and went to open the door. The boys were thrilled to see their dad arrive. They were playing in the living room, but Ethan wanted to talk to Claire first. "I'm sorry about what happened in the park. I already spoke to Francine. She promised it wouldn't happen again. She'll apologize if you and the boys ever run into her again," Ethan said once he reached the kitchen. Claire turned off the stove. "It's fine. What's done is done. As long as she sticks to what she said and it never happens again, we'll forget it. Have you eaten? Stay for dinner," she offered. "But I hope she doesn't get the wrong idea about our arrangement." "Even if she does, she has no right to be upset. We're no longer together. She's my ex-fiancée. Our engagement was for business anyway," Ethan said seriously. Claire didn't respond. She began setting the table. Ethan helped. While placing plates down, their shoulders brushed, and they both looked up at the same time. Claire froze as Ethan stared deeply into her eyes. Slowly, he leaned closer. Claire's breath hitched, her heart racing. Then Ethan kissed her. "Mommy! Daddy!" Claire immediately pushed Ethan away, so hard he bumped into the kitchen counter, wincing from the impact. "Dinner's ready, kids. Come eat," Claire said with a smile, turning to the twins who had just entered the kitchen with Mrs. Gemma. She was confident they hadn't seen the kiss. She sat them down and served their food. Ethan quietly took a seat, still rubbing his side. "Daddy, are you okay? Did you hurt yourself?" Lucas asked. "I'm fine, boys, just hungry," Ethan replied with a forced smile. They all ate together, including Mrs. Gemma. The twins shared stories about their recent experiences. Claire listened, occasionally catching Ethan stealing glances at her. After dinner, Mrs. Gemma did the dishes. Claire helped the twins get ready for bed. "Good night, Mommy. Good night, Daddy," the twins said cheerfully. "Good night, kids," Claire said softly, kissing them on their foreheads. Ethan did the same. Claire turned off the lights and stepped out of the twins' room. Their room was large with 2 separate beds. "You should go home. It's late. I'll bring the kids to your place tomorrow," she told Ethan, heading toward her own room. He reached out and gently grabbed her hand. "About what happened earlier," Ethan began hesitantly. Let's forget about it. Just pretend it didn't happen, Claire interrupted. I can't forget. Just like I can't forget what happened between us 6 years ago. Before Claire could reply, Ethan pulled her close. Their bodies were pressed together. What do you think you're doing? She asked, startled. Her heart thudded in her chest, not from fear, but something else. What if we build our family now? You, me, and the boys. I'll take responsibility. Let's get married and be a complete family. Claire looked stunned. You think it's that simple? You think we can build a family just for the kids, without love? Then let's love each other. I want a family. You came into my life, and so did they. I want all of you. Every time we're together, I'm happy. I want that happiness to last. Claire pulled away. Don't rush this. Let's focus on the kids first. They come before everything else. She walked away, leaving Ethan standing there. Before going to her room, Claire told Mrs. Gemma to lock the doors behind Ethan. The next morning, before heading out to take care of something important, Claire left the twins at Ethan's house. She felt at ease knowing that Mrs. Rita, who had returned as Ethan's housekeeper, was still working there. Once she finished her errands, she returned to pick up the boys. Lucas, Liam, I'm here, Claire called out as she entered Ethan's house. The gate was open, and she had his permission to enter any time the boys were inside. Oh, Claire, you're here. The boys are upstairs in the playroom, said Mrs. Rita, emerging from the kitchen. I was just about to bring them snacks. Let's go together. Claire nodded, and they headed upstairs to the room Ethan had set up especially for the twins. But as they approached the room, they heard something. You're the reason Ethan doesn't want to be with me. You're the obstacles to our love. You need to disappear, a woman shouted. Claire burst into the room. She saw Francine striking Lucas, who was crying in pain. Liam clutched at Francine's clothes, begging her to stop as tears streamed down his face. What do you think you're doing? Claire screamed, rushing to pull her children away from Francine. Oh, and here's the mother, the source of all this. You're where they get it from. Francine spat. You're ruining my life with Ethan. Claire's brow furrowed. Do you even hear yourself right now? You're attacking children. What's wrong with you? You should be ashamed, Francine snapped back. You just showed up out of nowhere and started begging for Ethan's attention. You're manipulating everything. Without hesitation, Claire slapped her hard. Francine was stunned. She raised her hand to slap Claire back, but Claire caught her wrist. Say what you want about me. Do whatever you want to me, but leave my children out of this. They have nothing to do with your drama. They're just kids, Claire said firmly. You whore! Francine screamed, grabbing Claire's hair. Claire fought back. She was fed up with Francine's abuse and baseless accusations. She hadn't done anything wrong, and if this was about Ethan, then Francine should be talking to him, not her, and certainly not their children. I didn't do anything to you. You're attacking me for no reason. If you have a problem with Ethan, go to him, not me, and not my sons, Claire shouted. How can I do that when Ethan already pushed me away because of you all? Francine cried. Mummy, please stop, Lucas and Liam sobbed. Mrs. Rita tried to break them apart but got hurt in the process. Francine had no intention of backing down, and Claire refused to let her continue. Suddenly, Claire's phone rang in her pocket. The sound made both women pause. Claire looked to Mrs. Rita, who quickly took the phone and answered the call. It's the hospital. Ethan was in an accident, she said, in a hushed voice. Claire and Francine immediately let go of each other. What? Which hospital? Francine asked in panic. Mrs. Rita handed the phone to Claire, who quickly checked the message with the address. Claire pulled her sons close, and with Mrs. Rita, they got into the car and drove straight to the hospital. Francine followed in her own car. Where is Ethan de la Vega admitted? I'm Claire Torres. I received a call saying he was in an accident, Claire said urgently at the front desk. Yes, I'm the one who called. He's in room 690. I'll take you there, the nurse replied. Claire followed, her chest tightening with anxiety. Behind them, Mrs. Rita and the twins trailed quietly. What happened to Ethan? Is he badly hurt? Claire asked as they walked. I believe another car hit him. His legs were pinned. He can't move them right now. I'll get the doctor so he can explain in full, the nurse said. Claire didn't ask anything else as they reached Ethan's room. She told Mrs. Rita and the twins to wait outside. Inside, Ethan lay on the hospital bed, both legs elevated. Claire approached slowly, noticing the scratches and bruises on his body. The nurse left to fetch the doctor. Ethan, are you okay? What happened? How did this happen? Claire asked anxiously. Ethan opened his eyes slowly and looked at her. Claire, how are the boys? He asked weakly. They're fine. Don't worry about them. I'm here. Just focus on yourself. What happened? A car swerved into my lane. We collided. I think the other driver might have been more seriously injured than I was. That's what's worrying me, Ethan replied softly. Just then, the doctor entered the room with the nurse. The twins rushed in behind them and ran to Ethan's bedside. Are you Miss Claire Torres? The doctor asked. Your number was listed as Mr. De La Vega's emergency contact. Claire nodded, surprised. Mr. De La Vega's condition is stable, but the bad news is he may be temporarily paralyzed. We're not sure when he'll fully recover, but with physical therapy, there's a strong chance he'll walk again. But he will recover, right? Claire asked. There's a good chance. We'll know more once we see improvement with therapy. For now, he needs to stay here under observation. Claire looked over at Ethan, who was reassuring the boys that he was okay. She spoke further with the doctor, asking detailed questions about how to care for him, what he could and couldn't do, and what to expect. The doctor and nurse left once everything had been explained. Claire decided they would stay at the hospital to care for Ethan. It worked out well, since she had recently hired a manager for her restaurant and no longer needed to be there daily. Mrs. Rita told me Francine caused another scene at the house, Ethan said suddenly while lying in his hospital bed. She hit the boys, Ethan, Claire said, her voice tight. She said they were the reason your relationship didn't work out. I lost it. I had to fight back. That woman's unhinged. I understand, Ethan said seriously. Don't worry, Claire. I'm not on Francine's side. I'll make sure she never comes near you or the kids again. I can handle myself, Ethan. Don't worry about me. Just focus on getting better, she added firmly. Ethan didn't respond right away. He let out a heavy sigh and stared at the ceiling, lost in thought. I'm sorry if I've been a burden, he finally said. I'll understand if you decide to leave, or just stay away. And I want to apologize again for springing that marriage idea on you before. It wasn't to get pity or because I'm alone. I said it because I meant it. Claire looked puzzled. I wanted to say sorry for everything, and I missed you. Even though I barely showed it, I liked it when you smiled at me. I missed that. Claire let out a soft laugh. Are you serious right now? You're saying you liked me? Me? The girl who used to clean your house? The one you got pregnant because of a blackout? Are you sure? I don't care about status or beauty. I care about where I'm happy, and when you left, I wasn't. Now that I know I have a family, I don't want to lose that again. Let me prove I mean everything I've said. Please open your heart to me, Claire. Claire didn't say anything, but her heart was pounding, and not in a way she could ignore. This wasn't just sympathy or nostalgia. She could feel something real. If you promise to get better, for our kids, I'll give you a chance, Claire whispered. Ethan reached for her hand. I promise. I'll get stronger. I'll keep my word, he said. Claire smiled faintly. She stayed beside him until he drifted off to sleep. She tucked in the twins, who were asleep on the fold-out bed. Mrs. Rita slept on the couch in the room. Claire quietly stepped outside to get some air. She walked until she was outside the hospital building. She bought herself an ice cream cone at the corner and sat alone, letting the cold soothe her throat. But as she walked back toward the building, someone suddenly yanked her hair from behind. "You bitch! Because of you, Ethan told me to stay away. You and your brats are ruining everything. I won't let you take him from me." Francine screamed. Claire didn't hold back. She fought back, grabbing Francine's hair just as hard. "We didn't do anything wrong. It's not my fault Ethan doesn't want you. Look at your behavior. If you ever touch my kids again, I swear I'll fight you with everything I have," Claire shouted. "And you think I'll just back down? Never!" Francine yelled again, kicking Claire in the leg. Claire fell to the ground, groaning in pain. Before she could recover, Francine pinned her down, still pulling at her hair. "Hey, what the hell are you doing to my friend?" Amanda screamed, running toward them. Without hesitation, Amanda grabbed Francine by the hair and yanked her off Claire. "Amanda, stop!" Troy called out as he helped Claire up. He immediately called for security, and soon the guards arrived to separate them. "Who the hell are you? Stay out of this!" Francine shouted. "You've got some nerve!" Amanda yelled back. "Even if you were president of the entire country, I wouldn't stand by while you assaulted my friend." "Let it go, Francine," Troy said calmly. "You too, Troy," Francine cried. "You're all turning on me. You know me. I can't live without Ethan. I swear I'll end my life if I can't have him." "Then do it," Amanda snapped. "No one cares." "That's enough," Claire said. "Let's stop this now. Let's let the authorities handle her." Amanda helped Claire back inside the hospital, where nurses tended to her. Troy made sure Francine was kept outside. Ethan found out what happened and was furious. He called his lawyer and filed formal charges to keep Francine away permanently. Days passed quickly, and eventually Ethan was discharged from the hospital. Though he still couldn't walk, he used a wheelchair, and Claire was always there to assist him. She decided to move into Ethan's house, bringing along Mrs. Gemma to help care for the twins, especially since the school year was about to begin. Claire stayed home often, helping Ethan with the company's operations from there, while still making time for their children. Ethan began physical therapy and was showing progress. "Mummy, wake up! It's our birthday!" Liam shouted as he bounced on Claire's bed. Claire slowly opened her eyes and smiled as she greeted both of them. The boys had slept beside her in one room, while Ethan's room was just next door. Although Claire and Ethan weren't sharing a room, they had recently begun discussing it. Claire got up with the twins and headed to Ethan's room. He was just waking up. "Happy birthday, boys," Ethan greeted them. "The decorations are already set up downstairs. Go get yourselves ready. Ask Aunt Rita and Aunt Gemma to help you." "Yes, Daddy," the twins replied before running out of the room. Claire stayed behind to help Ethan bathe and get dressed. He could handle bathing and changing clothes, but still needed help sitting and standing. "I'm excited to finally celebrate their birthday with them," Ethan said as Claire dried his hair. "This is my first time joining them. And from now on, you'll celebrate all the ones to come," Claire replied with a smile. "Daddy, your gift for us," the twins shouted as they burst into the room again. "Wow, you two look so handsome," Claire beamed, kissing them both on the forehead. "Gift already? The party hasn't even started," she teased. "Can't it wait?" The twins shook their heads. "We know you love us so much, Mommy. You'd do anything for us," Lucas said. "We love you more than anything. That's why we want you to choose someone who makes you happy. We'll support you, no matter what," Liam added sincerely. Claire was stunned. She turned to Ethan, hoping he'd help her understand what the boys meant. But Ethan wasn't in his chair. She looked down. He was on one knee. "I want to be with you for the rest of my life, not just because you're the mother of my children, but because I've fallen in love with you. Claire Torres, will you marry me?" Ethan asked, full of emotion. Claire couldn't stop the tears from falling. She covered her mouth with her hands and slowly nodded. Ethan slipped the ring on her finger. "Yay! We're going to be a complete family now!" The twins cheered. Ethan stood up straight, on his own, and kissed Claire on the lips. The joy was overwhelming. Not only had he proposed, but he had also fully recovered. Soon after, guests began to arrive for the twins' birthday party. Claire and Ethan took the chance to announce their engagement, at the twins' request. Everyone congratulated them, excited for the wedding. The celebration continued joyfully, and despite the big announcement, they didn't let it overshadow the twins' big day. "Thank you, Mummy. Thank you, Daddy. We don't have any more wishes. We're finally going to be a complete family," the twins said that night as Claire tucked them into bed. Normally, Claire would sleep beside them, but this time they insisted she sleep next to Ethan. Claire kissed them goodnight, turned off the lights, and left the room. "Thank you, Claire, for giving me the chance to prove how I feel," Ethan said, lying beside her later that night. "I didn't want to. I had buried you deep in my past, and I didn't want you back in our children's lives, let alone mine. But fate had other plans," Claire whispered. Ethan pulled back slightly and looked into her eyes, then gently caressed her face and kissed her softly. "I love you, Claire," he whispered. Claire smiled. "I love you too," she replied sincerely. They kissed again, their touch growing more tender and intimate. That night, they came together fully, not out of confusion or circumstance, but out of love and mutual choice. It was the night they began the family they had longed for. Time passed, and Claire and Ethan's wedding day finally arrived. The ceremony was attended by many guests, all offering their love and support. "Long live the newlyweds!" the crowd shouted as they raised their wine glasses toward the bride and groom. "To the newlyweds!" the guests echoed joyfully. Applause filled the air before everyone drank. The celebration continued at a beachside reception where laughter and cheer were everywhere. "Congratulations, Claire. I'm so happy for you both. And wow, don't you look amazing in this dress?" Amanda said with a grin. "I'm so honored to be your maid of honor. And Troy as best man, that was a tear-jerker." Claire laughed. "Of course, you'd probably sabotage my wedding if I didn't make you maid of honor." "Exactly. But don't worry, you and Ethan are totally going to be my maid of honor and best man when Troy and I get married." Amanda winked. "And your godsons will have their own roles too." "I'm holding you to that. Congratulations in advance," Claire replied with a bright smile. "Congrats, Claire and Ethan. Wishing you both the best. Finally, no more drama standing in the way of your love story," Troy added warmly. There had been no word from Francine. She had gone far away, her parents urging her to disappear to avoid further embarrassment for their family. "Well, you never know. There might still be one last villain left," Amanda joked. "But don't worry, I'm always ready to be your backup." Claire laughed at the memory of Amanda defending her outside the hospital. The conversation faded into laughter as the celebration continued. "Mommy, come dance with us." Lucas and Liam pulled Claire to the center of the floor. She motioned to Ethan to join them. The four of them danced together under the lights. The guests beamed with joy, watching the twins' lively moves. "They're amazing!" Troy called out with a laugh. Amanda gave him a playful shove, urging him to join. He scratched his head and followed her onto the floor. Amanda danced beside Claire, while Ethan and Troy matched the twins' energetic moves. The night was filled with joy, laughter, and celebration. Claire and Ethan stepped into this new chapter, having learned much from their past struggles. How to accept, to open their hearts and minds, to forgive, and to move forward. In life, there are things that are hard to avoid, especially when they were once part of your past. Sometimes you don't need to return to the past. But if it comes back into the present, you need to face it and resolve it before you can truly move on. In the end, there are only two outcomes: pain or joy, failure or triumph. Whatever the result, what matters is that we remain strong and determined so that we can keep going. I'm Claire, and this is where my story ends. Thank you all for watching.